Welcome to this session. I am Karishma Manchanda from Inner Freedom, the School for Re-Engineering Your Consciousness. And this session is designed to help you meet your inner child. Welcome to this session. I am Karishma Manchanda from Inner Freedom, the School for Re-Engineering Your Consciousness. And this session is designed to help you meet your inner child. As we grow up, we often tend to close up ourselves to the natural wisdom and the joy that comes from within. The wisdom and the joy that comes from our child self. The natural process of innocence and creativity that flows through us as a child self. And even if, as we may have a happy childhood, we are often given mixed messages about the things that have happened to us or the things that have happened around us. And we interpret the events and these messages in ways which may be detriment to our growth. So this is a useful session for anyone and everyone, as we all are vulnerable as a child. And as with all of my sessions, you always have choices. The choice is to control the outcome of the entire process. The choice to remain fully in control of the process itself. And as you start getting ready for this session, you may choose to dim the lights. You may choose to find yourself in a place where you will remain undisturbed for the balance of the session. You may choose to either lie down or sit upright, whichever is the most comfortable position for you. And as you become ready, you start bringing your attention to your breath. And as you breathe in, you relax your breathing even further. You allow your eyes to close on the exhale that you choose. Take a couple of deep breaths in and release it slowly. As you inhale, you find yourself sinking in. And as you exhale, you find yourself sinking down. With each inhale, you sink in. And with each exhale, you sink down. The deeper you sink in, the more relaxed you are. The deeper that you sink down, you find yourself to be even more relaxed. Take a few moments, finding and relaxing your body, focusing on your breath. Often, as children, we do not have control of what happened around us or what happened to us. We have no control on a conscious saying of the circumstances we were born into. We had no control or a conscious saying of the circumstances that happened to us. And as we become an adult, we gain more and more control. And oftentimes, we hold on so tight to this control. While we tend to have more control, we fail to recognize whether we are controlling the situation or our circumstances are controlling us. Sometimes we even see the control playing its game through excessive means. Settling down deeper into our own selves, we shut down our own existence. We shut our own selves by not letting the authentic self to express itself, the child self to express itself. We shut down our own paths to ourselves. We shut down ourselves to the others. So for now, as you continue to focus on your breath, you slowly slip into the process of becoming present, of becoming present to whatever may surface, whatever is ready to be released. And with each breath that you take in, you feel the heartbeat, the subtle pulsations passing through your body. We are encouraged to live in a world of distractions. We often find ourselves numbing ourselves. We distract ourselves, sometimes numbing and even avoiding to be recognizing the inner voice that comes from within. We tend to look everywhere to find solutions and answers to our unsaid mysteries. We look everywhere but within. We fail to recognize that many of these answers indeed lie inside of you. There is so much potential within. The possibilities of healing are endless. Perhaps you might gently like to place his hand onto your heart and slowly moving your other hand over your belly. You may choose to do one or the other, or perhaps both, as you feel comfortable with. You slowly start to recognize the breath even more deeper. resting your hand over your heart and gently embracing yourself. The inner child healing process starts now in these simple moments of self-embrace, of gentle acceptance. Breathe in and breathe out as you allow your thoughts to become more peaceful. Breathing in peace and breathing out all the stress and tension. You breathe in peace and you release stress. And as you release more and more of the stress from your body, you become even more relaxed. You tend to release anything and everything that comes to your mind, like the clouds clearing to reveal the blue sky. And as the clouds drift away, making the silent blue sky visible, you see the blue sky even more clearly. In your mind, look up as you gaze into the sky, slowly and steadily. And as you look down, you find yourself on a grassy space, feeling the wide open space around you. An open blue sky above, and the grass of bed below. Feel the presence of your mind, flipping through the photographs in an old album. An album that carries some of the stories of your past. And as you sit down, you deepen down these thoughts in your mind. Feeling all outside sounds and inside sounds getting quieter. Seeing the grass coming to the view. Feeling the waves of the breeze passing through. And as you become more present with the moment that you're experiencing, the past, present, and the future collides. You only are present to the moment that you're feeling, with a clear blue sky above and the white green earth beneath. And as you become more and more aware of the scene that you are in, you take a moment to look around the trees. And as you gaze deeper into the scene, you take a moment to notice all that is around you. And as you walk further to explore the area around, you start to see a small figure just up ahead, sitting or standing in the shadow of the tree. And as you get closer and closer, you recognize this as your child self. The child that you were. And as the child starts to recognize the footsteps, you tend to move closer to the child. And as you get closer, you notice the age of the child. How old do you see your child self? What are you wearing as a child self? What is the hairstyle? The dress? The color of the dress? The shoes? Notice the position that the child is. Sitting or lying down, still or moving. Is there anything else that is meaningful that the child is doing right now? And as you get closer, the child also hears your footsteps. The child looks around and looks up to you. Notice the expression on the child's face. What is the first feeling that comes to your mind when you look at your child self? What are the thoughts that come up? Notice without judgment. How do you feel for your child self? What do you think the child is feeling? What emotions surface? What are the expressions on the face of the child? How are the hands placed? The first and the most important thing right now for your child's self is to feel safe and comfortable. So you may choose to do whatever you deem fit for the child to feel so. The child who is nothing but you. It is important for you to make your child self feel comfortable in your presence. How can you give reassurance to your child self? What can you do to make the child self more comfortable, safe, to feel secure in your presence? And as you get even more closer, the child self does not know who you are. So you may wish to say hello or share your name, introduce yourself to the child in the best possible way that makes the child most comfortable. You may do whatever you feel is correct. You may express howsoever you wish to, as the child self will understand. If this is the first time that you're meeting your inner child, you may wish to tell them that you are their friend or a protector. If you've met them earlier, you may wish to explain it to them that you are their future self and that you have come back to take care of them. Notice how the child reacts to this information. Gives the child some time. Notice how your inner child, your child self, moves closer or becomes distant. You may choose to ask if there is anything that they need. Maybe your child self has some questions for you that you can help them explain. As an adult self, you now have a greater vocabulary and deeper understanding of things that happened. You can put into words that the child cannot do yet. Take your time to understand. Take your time to understand the child fully. If there is anything that remains unresolved in the child's mind, the child may express it with or without words. Notice if anything comes up. Notice the emotions that the child is expressing. How is the child feeling as he or she shares their emotions with you? This information is with you as you can understand them the best. Take a few moments to fully receive the message. Understand the child, the needs and wants, the desires. Notice if there is anything that the child blames themselves for, that you can clean up for them. Is there anything that still makes them feel bad or sad or uncomfortable? Notice if there is anything that the child asks you intuitively. If the child has not been able to express itself, you can choose to find words for them now. And as you start to understand them even better, you notice how the child starts to become more and more comfortable with you. As the child starts to relax, the energies start to shift and lift as they start to feel safer and attended by you. And as the child's energy now starts to lift, and the child becomes more comfortable in your presence, this is the greatest gift that you can ever give to anyone. The unconditional presence, without expecting anything in return. As children, we are all born with hope, trust, joy, creativity, inquisitiveness, and wonder. Find your emotions. As an adult self now, how are you feeling by spending time with the child self? If there is an overwhelm, allow the tears to flow. Ask the child if there is anything that they need. If there is a longing within you, ask the child if you can hug them, hold them, whatever the child is comfortable with. You may choose to express your presence howsoever you choose to deem fit. If there is a sense of vulnerability, allow this to happen. Just as the child now knows, it is safe to be in your presence. Your adult self also knows it is a safe place for you as an adult. For there is no judgment, there are no opinions. It is your unconditional presence to the child and the innocence and the joy of the child for you. And as this conversation between you and your child is about to end, you reassure the child self that whenever the child self needs you, you will always return, and that they can always call you upon them. as you now become even more quieter. You start to drift into your own thoughts and emotions that you have just strengthened within yourself by integrating the wise and intuitive inner child within you, remembering the innocent, wise soul that you still are. And as you drift further and deeper into your own thoughts and emotions, you look up at the sky with clouds filling in. Just as your thoughts and your emotions deepen, you start to feel the deepening of your heartbeat as well. You start to referring to your heartbeat with every breath you take in and every breath that you release slowly. On the count of 5, you start integrating all the lessons, emotions and memories of your inner child with the adult self. On the count of 4, you recognize yourself being one with the inner child. As the inner child starts to dissolve into your heart. On the count of 3, you start bringing your awareness back into the room and the space that you're sitting in or lying down. On the count of 2, you start moving your toes and your fingers and you start fluttering your eyes. On the count of 1, you may choose to slowly open your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2. You start moving your toes and your fingers. And you start fluttering your eyes now. 1. You may slowly open your eyes. And now that you're back into the present moment, you may choose to recall the emotions and the feelings of your inner child and the emotions and feelings of your adult self. And slowly, you start to recognize the beauty of the inner child here.